Hello and good evening, everybody, on this wonderful Sunday night. No time like the present to jump on in, so here I am, artist Scott O Green. This is I'd Rather Be Motivated, episode 28, and I'm flying solo this evening. Mr. David Fleming sends his regard, is welcoming a new addition to his family. Lovely new baby boy, and so I'd say that's a pretty well deserved night off. So we're going to let him do that. Sorry, I'm kind of stuttering at the beginning here, just trying to get everything set up here. Like I said, not super used to going solo, but we're going to go for it. If you guys got a chance to see my Instagram today, it's been a pretty full day. If you don't know, here's my handle on Instagram. It's Mr. Green Draws, mr.greendraws. I'm not sure how well you can see that. But anyway, mr.greendraws. And over there, you'll see it. Like I said, it was a pretty full day. We went to the Pop Museum in Seattle, which is the modern pop culture museum, and got a lot of good photos taken and video taken, and a lot of inspiration for drawing, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But first and foremost, there's the art check portion of the show, which even though David's not here, I still want to make sure that we're accountable to you folks out there in TV land. Sounds better than social media land. David, first of all, like I said, he sends his regards. He's got Apollo and his character in Analog Missions, which the Kickstarter, even with everything going on in his life, he's got a very supportive family, and he's going to be going ahead with his Kickstarter here very soon. I believe it's March 8th is planning on the kickoff day for that. And up until the 12th or so, I think, 12th or 14th, he's doing a draw this in your style, his main character Apollo, and anybody that does that is going to get featured in the book with your name, of course, and all of that good stuff. And his feeling that he kind of expressed when I asked him about it beforehand is that we're really kind of starting to see the I'd Rather Be Drawing community grow, and he thought that'd be kind of a cool way to give back and sort of show some support for other folks. And it's always fun, kind of the extras in the back of a comic to kind of get to see. So yes, that's David. He's always working, always pushing through, taking care of family business and the art business. So for me, that you're kind of seeing here is my 4-page comic for Fantastic Geographic, which I'm sure you've heard about. If you've been following me at all, missing one of the pages here, I'm sure it's just in here. Anyway, you start getting worried like you maybe lost something, but I'm sure it's there. Anyway, so yeah, this is my 4-page comic. It is called Fantastic Geographic that you can see right there. I actually made the step to take it in and get it all scanned in today. So even with driving down to Seattle and driving back, still managed to get that done. And it wasn't a short line. So I know that's not the most exciting thing for a half hour of making comics, but unfortunately for me, since I don't have my own flatbed scanner, that's something that I got to deal with and squeeze into my day. So trying to see. I don't know how well the live chat's working or not, so I don't know if anybody's there. But anyway, I know it's pretty late, so let's see here. So yeah, that's really I've got my motion lines done finally, and I think I've got all the tidying up. So now that I've got it scanned in, I'm going to be doing all of the words, kind of getting that laid out. I'm still going to print those off on a separate page so that I can light box them on the actual page. But I'll be printing this out as well again, the inks without all the pencil lines, and then doing the washes on top of that page. And now on that page is where I'll be inking in with a light box the letters. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as this goes. And I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this away. And with that, just so you guys know, that's with the 100 Days of Making Comics that was invented by Kevin Cross, the artist and musician and rad dude. It says every day for at least 100 days to put or every day for 100 days, put at least a half hour towards your personal comic project, and then post to social media to talk about it. Some of the folks have gotten together who have completed the challenge, and we're making an anthology. It's actually the second volume of it, and I'm pretty excited to be a part of it. There's a lot of fantastic artists that are going to be a part of that. To keep up with all those different artists, I want to make sure that you guys are able to follow along with not just me, but everyone going on. Follow these hashtags: the 100s, the 100s Anthology, and hashtag Werewolves and Unicorns. So I don't know why it says reconnecting. I think we'll have to see if it comes back on the same stream there. Sorry about that, everybody. Oh, the trials and tribulations of me dealing with stuff by myself. Anyway, don't know how well it'll all be working. Welcome to the live chat. Okay, so anyway, I just need to kind of get moving on. One thing that I'm not so great at is talking and drawing on these things, and it kind of freaks me out. But topic of conversation here lately has been facing your fears and running towards my motto for this year. So I'm just going to jump right in and start talking a little bit about the topic for the day, which is giving back to your art community. And I kind of find the best way. These are my notes: who, what, where, when, why, and how. That's kind of my best way to organize my thoughts on subjects of like this. So I'll see if I can't just muddle through and kind of get a drawing start here anyway as I talk about this. So I'm talking about is giving back to your artist community, to the art community. Who are we talking about here? Well, we're all following artists on Instagram and YouTube. A lot of us are artists following other artists. Some folks are just art lovers following artists, and you can all contribute. If you're not an artist, obviously the easiest way to support your community is to buy art. But you can't do that from everybody. So a lot of times, and honestly, it's a hugely supportive thing. It simply is in sharing other people's art. Now, when you make sure that you kind of share it properly and make sure that folks can find, you know, trace it back to the origin. You know, find the artist who actually made it and everything. That's an important thing to kind of help out. Um, but the other thing is we're all kind of a lot of us here were artists trying to make it right, trying to make our art and make it so that other people can kind of see it. So it's a lot of artists supporting artists. So that's the who. The what that we're talking about is, like I said, it's something that gets brought up a lot. I'm sorry, I'm kind of muddling through here, but you can't just consume. It can't just be all about, you know, how many likes do I have? Can I get these people to buy my artwork? You know, it can't just be all about you. You have to give something back. If you're a person like me who kind of, you know, you feel like you're struggling with your own, just trying to get better, it's like, well, it's hard to offer other people good critique sometimes because I'm trying to learn the language and just trying to muddle through myself here. And you just kind of wonder what value can I put in on a big level. Some of the big artists are like, you know, if you like Jake Parker or Kevin Cross talk about, um, you know, like cool ways to get in with, you know, bigger name artists and stuff is how can you help them, you know, start flatten their colors for them, or helping um, oh, like edit videos and stuff like that. But if you're like me, you're not really at a point where you can really get that going at this point. You know, I'm still kind of just trying to figure out how to do all my own stuff, let alone try to figure out how to, you know, help somebody on that scale. Let's see here. Like I said, it is not super easy for me to sketch and draw, so I kind of forget what I'm doing on both ends of it, which is always fun. All right, so just kind of moving on here. The where that you can support art that we're talking about is really kind of online here. What can you do to help people? And like I said, that's sharing people's artwork and communicating. Online, I've really kind of, it's still new to me, but developing relationships here online is new. And ways to cultivate that aren't always clear to me, you know. But that's where we are kind of talking about with this is here online in the community here in the nether regions of the web. Why do you want to give back? Why do I want to give back? Well, seeing all these cool artists doing their stuff online, it's really inspiring to me. And like I said, I got to figure out my way to give back. And that's really kind of what I'm getting at here is how am I trying to figure out or how can I figure out how to give back? Oh my gosh, this face is going to be something else. Why give back? Because if you don't give back, people kind of notice that stuff. You know, if you're always, like I said before, if you're always taking, you're always just posting your own artwork, not contributing, you know, people kind of notice that stuff, and it's just not cool. You want to be helpful. All right, the big one. How? How can we help? How can we help? Well, one thing that I've kind of developed in an attempt to give back that I think is kind of cool is sort of put some of my different loves into it. So here on our channel, there's a few different projects. One of my solo projects is drawing inspiration. The idea kind of taken from Jake Parker's creative bank account, where if you want to be able to sit down and draw stuff, you've got to like go out and experience things, whether you experience it passively through movies or other people's experiences, or whether you go out and have your own. And the point is you know, it's nice to kind of fill your life with all of those experiences. See things through other people's point of view as well as go out and experience them on your own. So like today when I went to that museum, I took a whole bunch of footage and I posted those pictures. And if you saw um, on my Instagram page or on Facebook, the kind of idea I have is I go out and explore. I kind of came from Kansas City in the Midwest and came out to the Pacific Northwest, where I'm experiencing new landscape, new culture, new museums, new sites, just all kinds of stuff. And for me, nothing is better than travel and kind of the experience that that gives you and provides, and the lessons that you learn, and just the adventure of travel and everything. And I started thinking, well, besides art, something that when people ask me like, what would you most love to do? It's like I'd love to be a travel show host. So essentially, that's what I'm going for is to combine my love of travel and art. And if I can give folks who are non-artists out there just a glimpse into, I don't know, the world through my point of view. You know, when I go out and I see these things, the angles and the shapes and the things that kind of key off in my mind that are interesting, um, you know, and then just see cool travel spots and interesting experiences. Awesome. If artists can watch it and get something from it, and I know for me, there's a decent amount of when I'm working on specific projects, things go you know relatively smoothly as far as you know what do I draw today. But when I kind of sit down and just draw for myself in between those projects, sometimes there's a long, you know, dealing with the page fright, just sort of staring at the page, going, "What am I going to do? I've got to do something cool." Well, I'm kind of trying to create a log of images and things that people can draw from, no pun intended, um, you know, during those times, and maybe kind of just create like a fun community. So I kind of posted, you know, a few different pictures of some horror things and some comic things because man, there was so much cool stuff at the at the Mo Pop Museum, the Modern Pop Culture Museum. We got actually ended up getting a year pass because there's just so much to see. So I'm going to be sharing more of that stuff with folks in the future as well. But so many costumes and masks and getting to see like you know pages of comics up close where you can see Jack Kirby's actual inks. You know some of the streakiness where it's not quite solid, and some of the pencil lines underneath, and then you know the whiteout and where they would just cut things and paste it. And man, I thought I was cheating doing that stuff, but turns out no, that's just you know before Photoshop. You know, I suppose that's why you have all those terms on computers like cut and paste because before we were literally cutting and pasting, which is apparently okay for me to still do. Anyway, just kind of veering off. But the idea is if I can not just fill my phone with selfies and pictures that we'll never see again because you just take the pictures and then move on with life, but actually make content out of that, to where hopefully uh, it just can, yeah, it can give somebody inspiration for drawing. It's as simple as that. And I think it's a cool idea to, I don't know, of course everyone thinks their ideas are a cool thing, but if I can get it to catch on in just a way of just local community, I'm not aiming for anything big, and it's fun for me to do. So even if it doesn't catch on, I'm probably gonna make a whole bunch of them. um, I don't know, I think it can be cool. It's going to be beneficial for me because every time I make one of those videos, I'm going to be drawing from it as well to kind of help promote it and everything. And then if you guys do a drawing from a video or the post for it, just hashtag it with the I'd rather be, or hello, hashtag drawing inspiration. And as I start collecting those, I'll start giving shout outs on the show and kind of hollering at people to, I don't know, maybe have some guest spots on and do some live drawing and talk with people. And so that's kind of the goal. That's the giving back for me, I guess, is what this this rambling is all about. Sorry, folks, it's been a long day, but the community of artists and comics and everything has just been awesome so far, and I want to contribute. I want to become part of it even more. If I can help other people, I want to. But for me, some folks are going to do tutorials on animation or on um, drawing portraits or construction lines or all this good stuff that, I'm just not at a place. I'm learning all that stuff. So for me to try to teach other people, which I know as you learn stuff, to teach it is a good way to kind of solidify it and everything. But, you know, I'm struggling to kind of learn it myself at this point, I guess is kind of what I'm trying to say. So I feel funny trying to teach other people. And teaching doesn't come naturally to me. And neither does being a student, honestly. So they're both kind of struggles. So this is a way for me to contribute, hopefully, kind of help expand an art community in one form or another, whether it's just a local one here or, you know, imagine, if it caught on a little bit and people started kind of liking the idea of a travel show that, inspires some drawing and everything. I'm really tearing this up. I had to move something, and this little lame eraser is not working so well. But anyway, if you can't tell, what you probably can't, I'm working on a creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm saying there was so much cool stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep much of this drawing after, but I'm still going to be posting. Um, I'll have a drawing done to post by tomorrow. I've wanted to have another episode of drawing inspiration ready to go already, but honestly, with my comic going for the 100s, I've really just been kind of going full bore in that and putting this on the back burner. But this trip today to Mopop was just kind of, and then, having to do this by myself, it just seemed like a good opportunity to kind of do a version of drawing inspiration, kind of a live on the fly way of doing it, and then kind of talk about why I'm doing it, which is to give back to the art community. And my point is just sometimes, maybe you don't have money to buy every piece of art that you see, or maybe you don't have the skills to teach, or the want or the need or the gumption or whatnot to kind of get on YouTube and put yourself out there to for whatever reason, hopefully more than just to self promote, but be part of a community. Um, but find unique ways to help out. I was thinking, I really need music for my for drawing inspiration, and I don't want to use just like music that requires or just lame generic stuff off of different sites. I'd rather I know that there's tons of artists out there who DJ and record their own guitar tracks or drum bits, or make whole like instrumental songs or whatnot. And I'd love to be able to kind of feature some of that music in my travel show. I mean, I need all kinds of little beats and little tunes, whether it's jazzy or punky or whatever in the background. They really kind of add a big texture. And since I'm not a high tech dude, I have to kind of get creative in other ways, which is, obviously what we're talking about. And so, featuring music and editing and different things like that, just some simple things like that, can really boost it. And whether it's, offering music to me or other artists out there who are trying to bolster their videos, if you see somebody who you're like, man, I'm not, you know, I really like what they do, but they need to color a couple of their pieces, because they only do black and white stuff, and maybe just offer to color some of their pieces or something like that. I don't know. I'm reaching now, I know, but the point is we all have things that we can offer. All of us at all different stages of this art journey, and in me trying to figure out, and that's what this was. This was, because it was on some different on Artcasters. They were talking about different ways of giving back, and starting different art support groups or critique groups. Something you can do in your actual art community that's not actual, but not online, but like in person. Evan, gentleman at Comics Place, has started on Monday nights. People get together and draw, and that I've only been able to go a couple of times, but that for me has already helped me feel like part of a community here in town more, and is inspiring to see those artists drawing live and getting to hang out with them. So there's so many different ways that you can help your community, whether it's monetarily supporting, starting a drink and draw at a local coffee shop or pub, an all ages or a grown up one, or a critique group of a few of you, or on Instagram, you can do a little group, so that anytime one of you posts, you can all kind of get on there and know right away and help like it and comment to kind of help get some traction on posts. All kinds of different ways that you can help each other. So I don't know, encourage folks to really kind of take stock and take, I don't know, just see what, there's more that you can do than just draw. And if you're just sitting in your room drawing and making by yourself, that's not good enough. You have to get out there and become part of a community. And if being in the community is just you dumping your art and leaving all the time, then that's not good enough. I want to be better about being a part of the community. It's still hard for me, like I said before, to kind of always feel like it's a real human thing when it's on computer screens. But the fact is they really do kind of build into relationships, and it's not just like a dirty like networking for money type thing. It is. Let's be honest. You are networking because when you go to sell a comic later on, you need people who are gonna want it. But that's what's great about this community is like it's really not about that when people get into this. No one's going to these conventions and making these books because they're thinking about money. They're doing it because they love it. So when people are forming these relationships and making, they're just making friendships. And I don't know. I think it's a great thing to kind of center friendship around art and creation and storytelling, and all of these things are just wonderful. I don't think this is looking like much of anything yet. It's really kind of coming out rough. Getting some basic shape, but not all of the right shape. A little bit. Got some proportions and everything. A little bit of a start on it. I do kind of feel like now at this point, I mean, hell, I've been rambling for a while here, let's face it, folks. Um, but me getting on here and trying to give a speech, not prepared very well after a long day of traveling. Like I said, I was a little bit apprehensive about it throughout the day, but honestly knew it wouldn't be too bad. The time to fail is when no one's watching, and it kind of looks like that's the case. So, if any of you do watch this later, thank you very much for hanging out. Drawing Inspiration is the name of the show that I'm working on. There is one episode already on our channel here, so I encourage you to watch it and find a drawing from it that you enjoy. Hit pause and put on some good music and just get sketching. The next episode I'm hoping to have out by next week when I talk to David, because it'll be embarrassing to say it's still not done when I'm actually talking to him next week. So we'll see about that. But that one will feature the Sparks Museum here in Bellingham, which is kind of the history of electricity and electronic invention, and features me inside a Faraday cage getting blasted with lightning and in slow motion, because we can't have enough slow motion. But anyway, so I encourage you to check that out. If you guys do find this video or find those posts on Instagram, I'm going to leave those up there. So I hope you can find one of these cool characters. There's Miss Marvel and Hulk in there. There's the Jeepers Creepers and excuse me, Michael Myers. So all kinds of good stuff to choose from. So please join me and draw along. Post it with the hashtag drawing inspiration, or don't really, like I do think that that'll help in the community aspect of it. But if it is something where you just get an idea to draw a picture, or draw a portrait of something or a scenery, or it gives you a bridge in the background that you think could be cool for your comic, man, just take it and run with it. I encourage it. So I'm gonna keep plugging away on this, maybe try to do a couple by tomorrow. We'll see, we'll see. But it's been fun hanging with you guys. I really got to get out of here because I'm just going to keep yapping. And I got to get some sleep because I work in the morning, as I'm sure we all do. So thanks very much for joining me tonight. Give back to your art communities. They're people that struggle and work hard, and they're not doing it for the money. But you know what? They need some of that stuff. So let's find ways to give it to them. All right. Love you guys. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye bye.